Biodiversity is the variety of life on Earth. It underpins the ecosystems on which our lives depend. But environmentalists agree that species large and small are disappearing at an alarming rate. The mining of minerals may not seem an obvious partner for wildlife, but quarries and mineral extraction sites in Europe are providing a lifeline for many often endangered species to thrive. These sand martins have flown 5,000 kilometres from Africa looking for a place to nest. A cliff face in this active sand quarry in Belgium provides the perfect soft surface for the birds to make their home. Without this, they would have nowhere to breed. The regulation of rivers has destroyed many of their natural habitats in riverbanks. Elsewhere, this time in Austria, brightly coloured bee-eaters, also endangered, add an exotic touch to another quarry. The mining companies encourage the birds by drilling the sandstone cliff face every year to ensure they can break through to lay their eggs. Minerals play an essential role in our lives, in the manufacture of so many daily necessities. The mineral sector can't choose its locations for quarrying. Geology does that job for it. But it can choose how to conduct business in a way that can protect biodiversity for future generations. This is one of the most important nature conservation areas in Britain. Until 1991, it was a working quarry. When extractions ended, the mineral company began a large-scale restoration project. Much biodiversity loss is due to the destruction of habitats through overdevelopment or changes in agriculture. With effectively a blank canvas, this was a chance to create a mosaic of different habitats: heathland, wetlands, woodland, which has encouraged a number of rare plants and reptiles.
A large percentage of nature reserves actually now occur on old, restored and disused quarries. So quite often you're taking away that's something of relatively poor ecological value and replacing it that's usually something very high ecological value.
More than 700 of the UK's sites of special scientific interest are on former quarry sites. And more mineral companies around Europe now have their own biodiversity action plans. Rehabilitation of any quarry involves huge earth moving, landscaping and replanting. On the Greek island of Milos, it took 7 years to restore a former bentonite quarry. Local flowers have been successfully reintroduced, a vital part of an ecosystem needed to cope with the island's harsh summer droughts. The eagle owl, the largest owl in Europe, also has the mineral sector to thank in part for its survival. Endangered and strictly protected, it's found new breeding grounds in rock quarries in a number of places in Europe. Ornithologists are excited to see the numbers of this stately species starting to increase. The European Union believes that the mineral sector makes an important positive contribution to biodiversity conservation, not just after a quarry is closed, but also during its working life. This talc operation in a spectacular part of the Pyrenees is all too aware of its responsibility towards the delicate ecosystem.
Environmental issues are important in Tremounts because we are on the top of the mountain in a very scenic area, in a touristic area. We have to take care about water management because we are in a sensitive ecosystem, and we have to take care about the rehabilitation of our waste dumps.
Former mineral extraction sites are now being recognised for their ecological role. Some are now included on the EU's Natura 2000 list of protected sites. For instance, this restored kaolin works in France, where the mineral company worked closely with conservationists to build a variety of rich habitats, now home to a vast number of species, including the endangered sistu pond tortoise.
It's a very interesting site with very different environments. What's interesting is to see the background to this site. to see how a quarry and the naturalist associations understood each other to create a natural space out of this sort of area.
A recent survey showed that French quarries provide homes for more than half of the known animal species in France. And throughout Europe, a huge number of flora and fauna on the official red list of endangered species are finding shelter in active or disused mineral extraction sites. The mineral sector is helping to turn the tide of habitat destruction, proving it can be a partner in biodiversity conservation, from the opening to the closing of a mine.